Good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Miss Fin Show. I'm your host, Miss Fins. Thank you so much for coming through, guys. Much appreciated, much appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know what I'm going to say, you know what I'm going to ask. Go ahead and do me a favor and hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button. Share, subscribe, let everybody else know we are live. Thank you so much for coming through. If you are catching the replay, thank you so much for catching the replay. Hit that like button. You're in for a great treat. Today we're going to be discussing the top 5 Miami Dolphins free agent needs. And guys, we should probably focus on re-signing back, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much for coming through. Much appreciate everybody on Twitter and Twitch. Thank you for coming as well. Go ahead and hit that like button. Thank you very much. As always, public service announcement. Please remember, debate your little hearts away. Just remember to be kind. Be kind to each other. That's it. Be kind to each other. But debate. Have heated debates. But be kind. Because you never know what people are going through. Okay? That's something that as you get older in life, for all you youngins and children that are watching, you will continue to learn. You never know what somebody's going through. So that's why I say always be kind. Always keep that into consideration. And it'll make you a better human being. Okay. Also, too, you can catch Miss Fins Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern. Every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us this morning. And please become part of the family. Become a member. That's a great way for you to show your love, show your support for the channel to help us continue to grow and do bigger and better things. As like I always like to say, ladies and gentlemen, we win together. We lose together. Dolphins for life. Let's go. And yes, that is a ripoff from one of my favorite movies of all time. And if you know which movie it is, put in the comment section because, it's always cool to see you guys if you're, you know, up to the carrying culture. But let's go ahead and do it. Thank you so much, everybody, coming through. Much appreciated. Oh wow, how are you guys doing this morning? What's going on, Dakota? Welcome, Dolphin Don Vince 209. Welcome, Franklin. How you doing, buddy? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Aquavision, Timothy, welcome, guys. Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate all you guys for coming through. So let's go ahead and get started. But before we do, everybody, as always, water break. Stay hydrated, my friends. Mm. So today, or technically this week, because today we're going to talk about the topic, but I was thinking about it all weekend. What are the main guys that we should resign back? Now, we've been talking cap, uh, cap salary, or salary cap, I guess. The NFL salary cap. We started last week. We talked about it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Go check those out. What in the cap? Yes, I was able to finally update the thumbnails, which I like them. So you let me know what you think. But yes, what in the cap? Part 1, 2, and 3. That was last week. Go check those out. We really break down the cap. The way I figured this off season we would start out is let's tear it down, see what we've got, and then build it from there. What do the Dolphins need? What are we looking to accomplish this year? And which players are going to best help us to get to our ultimate goal, which is the Super Bowl. And with that being said, even yesterday, even this week, because today is Wednesday, thank you very much, February 21st, 2024. Wow, can you believe it's already almost the end of February? And we just had New Year's? Wow, that's time. It's beautiful. The one thing you'll never get back, time. So definitely enjoy every second in life. And back to our regularly scheduled content. Uh, the um, the other things we were talking about is also top 5 draft needs, and other such things that we talked about so far this week, Monday, Tuesday. Now, today I want to focus on free agents, even though we've technically touched on this topic already. I wanted to make it safe, and I've been reading several articles and doing my research, and there's some really great articles out there. So let's support our community. There's a lot of people that put in a lot of time and effort into, doing the research as well, and putting these articles together. And I'm going to highlight one that I really loved. I thought it was very detailed. And for me, it just gives us an idea. Now, remember, we're going to break all these down even more into more detail. But at least the way I like to do things is to, kind of give you an overview, and then we're gonna go into the detailing later. This off season, and most people, it's like, what are we gonna talk about now in the off season? There's no more football. Trust me, the NFL makes sure that this entire off season, like every other off season, there's a million things that we can talk about. Okay. Before we get to the top five, guys, obviously go ahead and hit that like button. But let me go ahead and remind you guys of the important dates that are going to come here, because we have several important dates coming up. We just started franchise tag yesterday, all the way up to March 5th. That's going to be where the period where all the teams are able to designate the players that they're going to decide to either franchise tag or transitional tag. So you have that time frame between yesterday started at 4 p.m. till March 5th at 4 p.m. That's where that period is. And every team is allowed to franchise at least, well, one player, franchise tag them, and one they can do a transitional tag. Um, and if you want to know anything about the tag, check out yesterday's show in What the Tag. And we totally talked about it also, too. I know it was a very long show because it was so good. But we also had what everybody's waiting for, which is, what would be the ideal or the best win-win situation for us when it comes to the extending to we did that live. We put you in the GMC, and we had you guys decide, okay, what are the numbers, what are we going to be paying, and what can we taking a look at? Because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at most experts out there, I know you're going to hear a lot of people say, oh my God, well, what if we get this other quarterback or that other quarterback? Great, because we're also going to be discussing that too, but we're going to go under the premise of the Miami Dolphins are going to move forward with Tua Tagovailoa. At least, Now, they could shock the entire world and do something else, and we'll discuss that too, but at the end of the day, we're gonna go with the same premise of they're gonna move forward. So we had a lot of great gems. Yesterday's show was awesome. Go check that out. And what was it? What did I name it? What the tag? What in the tag? I think it was the name. So go check it out. It was awesome. So let's move on, guys. Let me go ahead and add this and share this show with you guys. This um, post that I did, and shout out to Joe Shad who had this article. He did this 2 days ago, which is interesting because I just saw this morning. And the funny part is that a lot of what he mentioned in his article, we already talked about last week and on Monday and yesterday. So to me, I was like, wow, that means that as a community, we all have the same mentality, which is a great thing. That means that we're all seeing what we're seeing, and we expect our team to give us the same kind of performance, if you will, when it comes to the off season. So let me go ahead and share this. A Von moment, please. Uh, Okay, if I can I see it. Hold on. I give me a minute, cause for some. Oh, there it is. Ah, found it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So, and this is coming from Yahoo Sports. Okay. What's up, villain? Welcome, welcome. Michelle, welcome. No, as of today, Miami Dolphins have not tagged any players. Great question, Michelle. So that is your tag update of the day. Good morning, Jeremiah. Welcome, buddy. Welcome. So this is the like I said, the great article that Joe Shad had. Let me make sure I did I make it try to make it as easily readable. Yeah, I think that's pretty good, right? Man, you we can read that, right? Yeah, I think we can. So I think if I make it any bigger, it's gonna be a little ridiculous. Yeah, we'll do this. We'll keep it there. There you go. So this is coming from Palm Beach Daily News. Joe Shad, shout out to Joe Shad again. He did this on Monday. Um, and in this article, I thought it was an easy read, easy for us to kind of go over, and I really liked it. It brought us some great points, and we're gonna go ahead and discuss that. Let me bring him a little tracker on this side because, like I said, we've been talking about this all last week, this week as well, and I think that it's important for us to go ahead and focus on all that. So let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. The There it is. The Dolphins are $52 million over the NFL salary cap, according to Spotrac. Wow, can't read that. So, in a world, so how in the okay, let's restart this because clearly, as giant as these letters are, I'm not reading them right. So give me a second. Might need another water break. Hold on. Mm. The title of the article. Let's start this puppy. Miami Dolphins free agency top 5 players to prioritize. Okay. And again, shout out to Joe Shad for coming up with this. The Miami Dolphins are $52 million over the NFL salary cap, according to Spotrac. So, how in the world are they going to sign any free agents in March, including their own? Well, it's not going to be possible to sign them all. So, how to prioritize? Let's consider that Miami will need to cut some players. Emmanuel Ogbot, we worked on this yesterday. Xavier Howard, perhaps, and restructure some contracts like Tyreek, Jalen Ramsey, and Bradley Chubb in order to have any roster flexibility. We get to do all that, by the way, guys, yesterday. So go ahead and check out yesterday's show and even last week's show when it comes to the cap. So you guys have an idea of how that visually looks like that and how it affects directly the cap. And let's consider that Miami and Tua Tagovailoa can lower his salary cap hit for 2024 with a long-term extension that both sides have expressed a desire to accomplish. That said, Miami general manager Chris Greer must prioritize his pending free agents, taking into consideration position and potential replacements. During last season, Greer was able to lock down right tackle Austin Jackson with a new 3-year, $36 million that is very fair to the club and player. AKA, he means it's a team friendly deal. He gets his money. He gets a 3-year contract, and then we're able to go ahead and lock down the right side of the O line and not have to worry about bringing in anybody else. Which, yes, that's always a good thing. Jackson's deal makes him the 10th highest paid right tackle by average salary. And as far as his guarantees, Miami could move on from Jackson after 2 years if necessary, though that's obviously not the hope. And what does he mean by that? He means they essentially front loaded his contract and his guarantees money within the first 2 years. So that means, and we talked about this yesterday too, when it comes to contracts, the only money that matters, ladies and gentlemen, is the guaranteed portion. Okay? Only the guaranteed portion. Look at Tyreek's contract. Oh, $120 million. $72 million fully guaranteed. His contract is $72 million. Forget about the extra fluff. That unless he plays out his full contract, that's the only way he gets that money. Other than that, it's going to be the fully guaranteed money. That's the only thing that is actually worth in any contract. Okay, that's the money that matters. Um, and that's the money that's a hard hit for the teams when it comes to the cap and the cold hard cash the player is going to get. Okay. Jackson wanted to be a Dolphin, enjoys living in South Florida, believes in his coaches, and appreciates that the organization supported him despite an uneven start to his career as a first round pick. He was actually very good his very first year. Then he got injured, has had a little bit of roughness, but last year he did break out and he was able to go ahead and be a solid, solid right tackle for us, like he was his rookie season. And being able to extend him allows the team to have that flexibility and not have to worry about that right side of the O line. Every player will weigh what's most important to him. Here's how we rank the Miami Dolphins free agent priorities. So we've talked about this ad nauseum because it's the off season. And to be honest with you, this is one of the most important things that we have to consider. We have 26 free agents. We have the one of the least amount, if not the least amount of currently signed players to our roster right now out of all 32 teams. I think we're ranked 31st. And with that, we also have one of the largest amount of cap deficits. And if I'm not mistaken, only the Saints have a bigger cap deficit, meaning we're over the cap by $52 million. So with those two things, it shouldn't be that way. The way the cap works, guys, and we went over this as well yesterday, is very simple. The more players you have, the more money you have committed to the cap. However, opposite of that is the least players you have, the least amount of cap hit you should have, but that's the inverse for the Miami. So we're kind of it's like the worst possible scenario. Having very little players under contract that are overly paid where you're over the cap. And these are some of the players that are free agents who we should be looking into bringing back because they are such vital pieces to us. Okay. And one of them being Christian Wilkins, our defensive tackle. How Back to the article. Joshad says, according to Spotrac, Wilkins' value is 4 years, $80.9 million, which is about 20.2 million per season. That will make Wilkins the seventh highest paid defensive tackle in the NFL. Wilkins' statistics are quite similar to former Clemson teammate Dexter Lawrence, who makes 21.9 million a season with the Giants. Who is a free agent alternative? Here are the annual salary post track projections of some pending free agents defensive tackles. Justin Madubuike, blah, 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 this name. I'm gonna get it. Madubuike at $20.3 million, DJ Reader at $14.9 million, Sheldon Rankins at $9.9 million, and Javon Kinlaw at 5.4. So these are some of the alternatives if we do not pick up Christian Wilkins in the free agency. These are some of the players that we could consider looking into. And when it comes to that, there were a couple, if I'm not mistaken, I had as well. The other one that I was looking into as well was Zach Martin. I do believe he should be becoming available as well, and having him would also be another potential opportunity for us to have as a defensive tackle, being that he has such experience and he is a veteran who could provide really good starting potential, if not even at least a backup potential as well. Um, Now, where might he stay or go? Madubuike, broke out in Baltimore under new Dolphins defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver. So he's obviously alternative to Wilkins. Ooh. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, Miami Dolphins have a new defensive coordinator that would be Anthony Weaver. We got him from Baltimore. And he has worked with Madubuike, meaning if we're not able to sign a deal with Christian Wilkins, then it makes sense for our new DC to want to bring in one of his old guys that he already has worked with, and he'll know how to utilize them best. Let's see here. Though, if Miami is going to be in that stratosphere, perhaps they would want to keep the first round pick of their massive rebuild. Miami feels they've been reasonable in previous discussions with Wilkins' representation. If Wilkins insists on $23 to $25 million a season, the Dolphins would probably either let him walk or franchise tag him for 1 year at about $20.9 million. They could then perhaps trade him. So sign and trade. This is being the tag. When we talked about the tag, he, in my opinion, was the number one candidate for the Dolphins to tag. And it only makes sense, if anything, at least a non exclusive tag, which would allow him to still look for contracts and from other teams. And if he does get extended, we get the first right of refusal, or we get the opportunity to match that contract. And if we choose not to match the contract, then that team has to give us 2 first round picks. And typically, more than likely, is that season and possibly even the next season's um, first rounders. Because I do believe that he is worth at least, bare minimum, a first and a second, if not a first, second, and third. And you could make the case of two 1st round picks. So with that being said, this is something that we've definitely spoken about, because he is worth it. If he is looking to just secure his money at 23 to 25, which from what I've heard, we've made at least 2 offers to him that were close to the number, but they were still team friendly deals. If he is looking to keep that market value that he's projected at, then hey, listen, thank you for your services. One of the best celebrating guys, one of the great team locker room guys. But I understand if they do let him walk or sign and trade as well. And also, too, I want you guys to remember, if you watched Hard Knocks, it almost felt like he was saying goodbye to the guys in that last game versus Kansas City, which kind of made me feel like, oh man, we're never going to see this guy play in this uniform again. So, yeah, there you go. See, that is him right there, Mr. Christian's Power Rangers Wilkins. Number 2, ladies and gentlemen, Robert Hunt. Now, some would say Robert Hunt should be the first guy we should look up. But Miss Phins, what do you mean? Why Robert Hunt? Well, very easy. We only have one O lineman already secured and signed in the team, and that would be Austin Jackson. And the reason why I say one is because I'm not counting Teron Armstead, ladies and gentlemen. He's half a tackle. He's phenomenal when he plays, but we only get him for half a season anyways. So I can't count on him 100%. I got to always be counting on a backup for him. So because of that, we only have one O lineman truly signed as a starter, and we have one backup. That's it. So the O line is a massive need for us. Massive need. So I absolutely understand why some people will actually consider a Robert Hunt being more of a need than Christian Wilkins. So number 2, Robert Hunt, guard. How much might he cost? Michelle says, Miss Fins, but that was before we got a new DC. Weaver said he wants to work with Wilkins. Yeah, Michelle, I understand that. It makes sense for him to want to work with Wilkins. Wilkins is a great, phenomenal player, But this is the thing. You can't sign to everybody. So if the money doesn't work out, and there's nothing we can do, and that's when we have to consider other players that we could bring in as part of our free agents. Because no matter what, one thing we are guaranteed is that we need another defensive tackle, period. Whether it's Wilkins or someone else. And this is just focusing on the top five position needs and players that we need to resign as our free agents. And should be our focus. According to Spotrac, Hunt's value is about 4 years, $47.4 million, or 11.8 million per season. This will make him the 60th highest paid guard in the NFL. Now, who is a free agent alternative, perhaps? Here are the annual salary Spoelstra predictions of some pending free agent guards. Kevin Dotson at 17.4 million, Mike Onwenu at 13.6, Ezra Cleveland at 13.3, and Damian Lewis at 7.4. Interesting that Ezra Cleveland at 13.3 is on this list because we talked about him last offseason as well. And the fact that, he would potentially become, again, a free agent this year, this is something, in my opinion, we truly need to consider. Because having that right guard, because that's Robert Hunt's position, is truly important. Now, granted, I want Robert Hunt before I want Ezra Cleveland, because look, Ezra is at 13.3 million, or at least his projected value, as far as the annual salary. Robert Hunt would only cost 11.8 million per season. But to me, because of the online situation that we have, and Robert Hunt, the fact that he's been the most consistent and consistently healthy O lineman you've had this entire time, and by entire time I mean in the last 4 years, Robert Hunt has been your number one O lineman who has been available. Yes, I do believe that. To me, I'd put him actually as the number one needed player. So at this point, when it comes to Robert Hunt, I expect a similar, perhaps, contract, kind of like Austin Jackson, or at least that's what I'm expecting. This would make it 4 years versus 3 years, like Austin Jackson, but I would want to secure Rubber Hunt for 4 years, anyways, because you have this is to his blind side. And it doesn't matter who you bring in, regardless, whoever the quarterback may be, even if it's not Tua, you still need a solid guy. And to me, he has been arguably our what? Most consistently high playing player in that O line. So that's who I would go ahead and pick. Why might he stay or go? Hunt would love to stay in South Florida. The Dolphins love Hunt. They love his size and athleticism, and that is a great fit for Miami's offense. Could he get more somewhere else? Probably. Should Miami prioritize guard? Many will say no, which I'm already seeing it in the comment section. You don't pay a guard, you pay a tackle. Okay. Absolutely not. Many will say no, absolutely not. But at a reasonable rate, say 12 million a season, absolutely yes. And I would have to agree. When you have somebody as solid as him, you want to lock him up. And he's already in house. He already knows how to play with his quarterback. He already has rapport with your um O line's coach and Butch Berry. I want him back. To me, absolute priority in Rubber Hunt. Third guy on the list is Andrew Van Ginkel, edge rusher. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew had to come in. He's been one of our most solid edge rushers this entire team. I know we have Bradley Chubb. I know we have Jalen Phillips, both of which are projected to be available for us due to their injuries, respectively, Achilles and ACL tear. available in the middle of the season next year. That means we won't have them available. So we need somebody for us to use. Now, Andrew Van Ginkel to me as a backup has been one of the most reliable players that you could have, in my opinion. At one point, when Jalen Phillips went down practically in the middle of the season, Andrew Van Ginkel came in, and you almost thought, man, are we even missing any by not having Phillips in here? I almost thought at one point, man, Andrew Van Ginkel might be playing better than Phillips. But then again, Van Ginkel, he's got a couple more years than Phillips does. Um, and Phillips is still developing, obviously a young player. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Van Ginkel showed you that he's a vital piece in this defense. Now, being the fact that um, Anthony Weaver's a new DC, I could totally see why Andrew Van Ginkel would make a great addition to add back to the team. Because if we were to stick to the multiple defense reference that we're getting from our new DC, Andrew Van Ginkel is very versatile. Very, very versatile. He can play in the edge. I've seen him play inside linebacker, sometimes even middle linebacker, but to me, he plays best when he's playing the edge. So having him back in the team to me is another key piece. And regardless, you're gonna need somebody to come in to the team, being that we have both of our edge rushers out for at least that first quarter, if not first half of the season. Now, Joe Chast said number 3, Andrew Van Ginkel, edge rusher. How much might he cost? According to Sports Track, does not offer a projected salary for Van Ginkel, who has already made $7.9 million over 5 seasons as he begins his career as a fifth-round pick. Talk about ultimate value. Last year, he did have a pick six, which versus the Commanders, which was epic, epic, epic. And he was very effective for us last year. We might guess that Van Ginkel, with 6 sacks last season, might command $7 to $9 million from an NFL team inspired by his high motor. Now, who is a free agent alternative? Here's some annual salary Spotrac track projection of some pending free agent edge rushers. Jonathan Grenard, 13.4. Chase Young at 13 million. Zadarius Smith at 12.4. Josh Uche at 8.3. Leonard Floyd at 5.6. And Calavin Chason at $3.1 million. Now, we've seen AJ Epinesa, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that the big already played against him? And I've definitely, he's definitely been very effective for them, in my opinion. So I could totally see why we would want to bring someone like him. I would still pick our guy over him, especially because I do believe um, his versatility is probably the biggest thing that we could want and need in the defense we're about to have. Crazy Dolphin. Good morning, Mr. Polk. Good morning, Manolo. He says Jadavian Clowney was balling this year. Yes, he was. It's phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. I mean, he's been available last year, Jadavian Clowney, last off season, available, potentially available for this off season. I could totally see why he would make a good addition to our team as well. Chase Young, always liked him, young player. My gosh, he phenomenal. So to me, we'll see. Now, why might he stay or go? Former defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, a big advocate, is gone. How does Van Ginkel fit into Ravens' like scheme of new coordinator Weaver? Van Ginkel is lighter than, say, Clowney, who played edge for the Ravens last season. Hint, hint. But that's not to say AVG couldn't fit. Miami needs to add at least a couple of edges because stars Jalen Phillips' Achilles and Bradley Chubb knee had serious injuries in 2023. So there you have it. Exactly what we were talking about. We're gonna have to bring in guys regardless. Now, a contract, if you're looking at Van Ginkel at $7 to $9 million, is still cheaper than, you could say Uche or Leonard or Clowney or itself, and you're still able to get great production. His versatility to me is his biggest asset. Now I understand why Clowney, who played with Weaver in Baltimore, makes sense if he wants to bring in his own guy. I do expect it, but who's to say we can't have both? Because again, we're gonna need guys since we have both of our guys um, dealing with major injuries. Number four, Connor Williams, center. Now, this one is very, very interesting. Connor Williams, obviously, we know, started out left guard. Then we transitioned him as a center for us. He was one of the highest rated centers in the NFL. Did have some snap issues, um, but still solid center. Mostly because, you know, putting aside the snap issues kind of that's happened before, he actually is a phenomenal blocker. Phenomenal blocker. So when you're dealing with a very high powered D line that you're going to go against, you want somebody like a Connor Williams who's going to be able to stand his guy, especially right after snapping the ball and be able to pick up anybody in front of him or any blitzes or stunts that may occur right up the middle. You can have him be that blocker. Now, how much might he cost? According to Joe Shad, he stated, according to Spotrac, Williams' value is about 5 years, $67.7 million, or about $13.5 million per season. This will make him the NFL's second highest paid center. Who is a free agent alternative? Aaron Brewer of the Titans might command about 5.2 million per season. According to Spotrac, Cody Whitehair from Chicago and Graham Glasgow from Detroit are among the other available centers. Let me see here. I believe I had somebody else. Yeah. Those are the three main guys I'd say that that it makes sense. And these would be cheaper options available for us as well. So, being that Connor Williams, he did so great again with his blocking that I can see why he may want to go ahead and explore other options. 13.5 million dollars per season depends on what we're trying to do, to be honest with you. Why might he stay or go? We don't think the Dolphins want to pay Williams 13.5 million a season. I don't think so either, honestly, guys. He will be returning from a torn ACL. He had some snapping issues at time. Remember we talked about that. That said, his skill set, combination of footwork, power, and quickness, is ideal for Miami's zone scheme. Could Liam Eichenberg fill the void? We know Liam is developing. He's not a finished product. So could he perhaps fill the void? Maybe. Or perhaps there is a solid chance Miami drafts a center in the first round, such as Jackson Power Johnson out of Oregon or Graham Barton of Duke. So, seeing that the center position is the way that it is, I'm going to give you guys some insight. And we talked about this at the end of the season after we were no longer in the playoffs. It was very telling. The Mike McDaniel, Chris Greer postseason press conference that they did, where two players specifically that Greer mentioned, Christian Wilkins and then Connor Williams, and actually he mentioned three of them, and Robert Hunt too. For Robert Hunt and for Connor Will and for Christian Wilkins, he said they have both earned the right to be free agents. And we, if you know your GM, we know what that means. That means we've already offered what we were going to offer. They said no, so thank you so much for your services. Good luck and good luck and have a great one. Right? With Connor Williams, though, it was more of like we'll need to wait and see. So it might be telling that perhaps we might still be trying to work out a deal with him. And now that obviously he's coming off the ACL tear, Greer loves his injured players, so he might actually take advantage of that and say, hey, listen, I know this is what you're slotted to be making, but you have to understand you're coming off a major injury. Are we going to be able to go ahead and keep that same productivity? Blah, 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 blah. And he's going to be using that against Connor Williams. But we'll see. In my opinion, I get why you would want to go ahead and bring him back. Again, his quickness and power. I'm telling you, that's why he was rated such a high center because of it. But I can see why they would also want to go ahead and go draft when it comes to this as well. And last but not least, to round up our top five free agent needs and also um, players to bring back, Deshaun Elliott. And honestly, I'd have to agree. Interestingly enough, before we get into Elliott, or maybe I should do that for my post, but I don't want to forget. Each position that we talked about today, defensive tackle, center, guard, edge rusher, all these positions are major positions where we literally either have nobody under contract or one, and we need maybe two or three within the same position, or four even at times. So these are why these particular positions are so vital for us. And we already have players that have played with us. We know what we're getting from them. So this is why that sense of urgency is there. When it comes to Deshaun Elliott, safety, how much might he cost? Before we get into that, just so you know, we only have one safety under contract, and that's Javon Holland, because he's still technically in his rookie contract. He's going into his fourth year right now. We only have one safety, ladies and gentlemen. You never want to go into anything with just one player. You need depth, plus you need somebody else to pair him with it. Now, Javon Holland being the only one signed, you got Brandon Jones, who's also a free agent. You got Deshaun Elliott, who's a free agent. And then you also have Elijah Campbell, who's a backup. He's a restricted free agent. So we don't have anybody right now in the safety room except Javon Holland. And that's why we need to go ahead and focus on Deshaun Elliott, who in my opinion played really well last year. So how much might he cost? Spotrac does not offer a projected salary for Elliott. We considered placing defensive tackle Raekwon Davis in the slot, but although he's a big body, Davis hasn't had a major impact early in his career. Raekwon Davis, young player, he was much better in my opinion earlier years than now. He was supposed to be our run-stopping specialist, Raekwon Davis, and last year there was a drop-off. You could say it was a scheme. You could say there's a couple multiple things that that resulted as to why he wasn't as effective when it came to the run game, but I can see why they would leave him off. Moving on. Elliott made $1.8 million last season in that 1 year contract that he made with us. So figure another deal in that range is possible. $1 to $2 million. It kind of makes sense. It gives him the opportunity to still keep his options open as far as not having a super long term deal. But, securing, let's say maybe get a little bit of bump and make it $2 million this upcoming season for another year. I could totally see that, especially if we're looking to go ahead and make it run this upcoming season. Who is a free agent alternative? Here are the annual salaries, spell track projections of some pending free agent safeties. Geno Stone at $7.2 million, Taylor Rapp at 5.5, and Micah Hyde. Micah Hyde. I feel like I've heard that name before. Well, if you're in this division, AFC East, then you've definitely heard of Micah Hyde at 3.7 million. Other free agents include Jaron Curse, Jeremy Chin, Ashton Davis. Also, too, like I mentioned, Brandon Jones of the Dolphins is also a free agent option. Regardless of anything, we need to sign at least two to three, in my opinion, three safeties because it's such a dire need. Now, you could say, we can maybe slot in someone else who might be good at it. I know that we might not have him as a safety, if you will, but another player to consider too, which I was thinking about this, is perhaps what about a Nick Needham? He's been our slot corner for the last few years, but although some people say he's too slow, is he though? I know he came off the injury, and last season Vic Fangio just refused to play him for some reason, and he wants to play. He's very hungry, but I think Nick Needham is also an opportunity that we can probably use him. He's a very versatile player. We could also consider bringing him back. He is a free agent, and by slotting him in that and having him opposite of Javon Holland could also be an opportunity for us to do so as well. And having somebody else who, in my opinion, would be very beneficial for us. We already know what we're getting with him, and to me, having that year underneath him from the injury he had from before, he should be up and running and be able to play that. He's a very versatile player, in my opinion, and with that, he might also be an option as well as safety too. Or at least bring him as a camp body and kind of seeing, what can we get from him? Is he up to speed? Which I do personally believe he is. What's up, everybody in Bills? How you doing, buddy? Welcome, welcome. Now, why might he stay or go? Mm-mm-mm. No reason not to bring Elliott back. Sorry. There you go. There you go. Why might he stay or go? There's no reason not to bring Elliott back. He's a hard hitter and solid in coverage, assuming it's at a reasonable number, aka maybe like a $2.1 million contract for a year at least. He can start again opposite Javon Holland. Curse, a Fort Myers native, is intriguing too if he wants to make a team friendly deal at the age of 30. So this is why, ladies and gentlemen, I really enjoyed this article by Joe Shad. Definitely, he's covered the Miami Dolphins several years, and I really enjoyed this contract because it's very easy, simple, you know, and it kind of just targets most of the positions that, in my opinion, are the most vital. And because of that, that's why for me, I had to say, man, this has to be a priority. We have to hit in both our drafts and free agency. And I asked you guys, I asked America, what do we need to focus on, America? I asked you, do we need to focus on drafting and knocking it out of the park in our drafting, our draft this season? Or do we need to focus more on free agency? Where 66% of America said we need to go ahead and focus on our drafts and really knock it out of the park with our draft picks, which makes sense. Young, cheap players, you know what I mean? That you can implement and you can put in, develop, and you can have for a longer term and kind of replace some of these older players that we have. 34% of you guys said free agency. And I could understand that why the draft might be a little bit more ahead. In the last two seasons, we've only picked 8 times. We've only had 8 draft picks in the last 2 seasons, ladies and gentlemen. Talk about poverty with an extra poverty, you know? So to me, it makes sense why we need to go ahead and knock it out the park. This season, we have, as you guys already know, we only have 6 draft picks. That's it. So having only 6 draft picks, you need to make sure that you're hitting on these draft picks. No matter what, ladies and gentlemen, you have to make sure you are hitting on these draft picks. And as you can see when I'm putting them up, just so you guys have an idea, our current draft picks, the first round, the 31st overall, 21st overall, second round, our 55th overall, fifth round, meaning we don't have any picks in the in the third or fourth round. We got to go and wait 3 rounds to get to the fifth round at 157. Then we got two 6th-round picks at 186 and 200. And then our a 7th-round pick at 239. That's not enough, in my opinion. And yesterday we discussed what I think we should go ahead and do. But to be honest with you guys, having those little amounts of draft picks, I could see why we would want to hit on those, since we've only had 8 in the last 2 seasons. And the inverse of that, because we've had such little, some would say, success in the draft, we need to be very, very, very good in who we pick up in free agency. And that's what we're talking about, free agent needs today. Because a lot of these players, you don't know what you're getting with the draft. You only see their potential, what the scouting report is telling you, and what you can expect. And don't worry, we're going to be doing tons, and I mean tons, of mock drafts. But regardless of that, you still need to make sure that when you have the free agents, that we get as many as we need to fill in the key positions. This is why when you focus on these positions, we talked about it, we have nobody in safety. We don't even have a starting center. We don't have a starting right guard. We don't even have anybody under contract in the O-line except our right tackle. So the glaring holes that we have in this team are so large that's why you have to focus on your D-line, which, by the way, a lot of people don't even forget about this either. Guys, we have nobody in our D-line either. Deshaun Hand is a free agent. Christian Wilkins is a free agent. Raekwon Smith is a free agent. Who do we have except Zach Sealer? That's it. We have Nobody else in the D line. So you mean to tell me, ladies and gentlemen, we have nobody in the O line, nobody in the D line, and almost everybody is in a general consensus that you build through the trenches? You live and die by the trenches? If you can't build a war on either side, you're not gonna you're not gonna be able to do it? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this because it's glaring, ladies and gentlemen. Glaring need for both lines, D line and O line. Now, I'm going to ask you guys, I want to get you guys' opinion here. Which potential free agent position should should we focus on first? I'm gonna go with guard center since I only have four options. Uh, defensive tackle, safety, and what's the last one? Oh, edge. So you guys let me know because those are the five, essentially the five positions. But I put in guard and center because it only gives me four options. So you guys let me know which one out of these should we focus on first in free agency. Um, and while you guys go ahead and answer that, do me a favor, guys. I need your help. I can't do this by myself because I'm only one person. But I need you guys to go ahead and hit that like button for me, guys. Hit the like button. We need at least 10 more likes real quick so we can get to one of our goals for this season. Is to have a general average of a certain amount of likes. And we can't do that without you guys. So go ahead and hit that like button for me, guys. Hit the like button. That way it lets everybody else know we're live. Water break. So yes, hit that like button, guys. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it so much. And ladies and gentlemen, in case you're just coming in, look at that. Yep. What in the top five? Miami Dolphins edition. Look at me. I know. Top five free agent needs, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're focused on today. This is why I really enjoyed talking about this particular Joe Shad article because I thought it makes sense. It absolutely makes sense based on what we need and where our glaring holes are. This is why we tore down, okay, what players do we have already under contract? What players are free agents? Okay, where are the holes that we need to fill in? And remember, the Dolphins have already signed 11 future contracts, meaning guys that we're going to be bringing in. Um, Camp bodies essentially. But those 11 players doesn't mean they're starters. They're just bodies. Like this is they're just literally players. Remember, you want to fill up the 90-man roster to take into training camp, so that way you can make your assessment and see who do you want to pick, who do you want to actually, you know, be your starters or not. And that does include um, the draft picks that we're about to pick, so on and so forth. Ronnie asks, my question to you, Miss Finch, do you honestly believe we can win a Super Bowl? You're hard hitting today, dude. You are hard hitting today. Ronnie, first and foremost, let me tell you something about me. I'm a Miami Dolphin fan. I like to think I'm extremely objective because that's just the way I was raised. I can see multiple sides of the argument for or against when it comes to the Miami Dolphins winning a Super Bowl. Well, I think that the let me break it down to you this way. If you're an NFL team, you have a chance of winning a Super Bowl. There's only 32 teams in the league. You're in 1 in 32 chances of winning the Super Bowl. That is a fact. Now, the true question is, Miss Phins, are we positioned to win a Super Bowl? Meaning, do we have the pieces that we need to win a Super Bowl now? Because you say that and it could be in 50 years. Oh, God, no, please. Don't let that happen. Sorry, that was a genuine reaction of me seeing the future. Do not let that happen, Lord. Let it be another 50 years. Oh, God, no. No, absolutely not. Anywho, we're going to move past that. Are we currently positioned to win the Super Bowl? And the answer is no. We have too many holes that we need to fill. We need to solidify. We don't know what kind of team we'll have because we still have to wait for this offseason to come together. And then I am of the thought, I gotta give me week one. Let me see what we've got on the field. You know what I mean? Now, do we have the potential core players for us to win a Super Bowl? Yes. The core players, the young studs, I do wholeheartedly believe we have the players that we need to win it. The thing is that that core staff is not enough. You need the supporting cast too. And that's where right now, because of the situation we're in with having 26 free agents and only having 6 draft picks, the way we're currently constructed, no, we don't have a Super Bowl winning team because we have to actually put this team together. We don't know what this team is going to end up looking like come week one. When it comes to, how do I word this? When it comes to us having the potential to win the Super Bowl, multiple things will need to happen and several things we'll have to consider. One thing for sure, I am still of the opinion that the best chance we had to win the Super Bowl was last year, this past year that just happened. Um, because the way that the AFC is constructed, way too many starting quarterbacks were out. Some of the top quarterbacks in the AFC were out of the season. It was primed, and on top of that, too, the reigning Super Bowl champs were playing horrible. Still ended up winning the Super Bowl. Now, some of us are gonna have some conspiracy theories about that, but regardless of that, because of the way that the AFC was structured this year, we were expecting it to be a gauntlet. It ended up not being that type of a gauntlet because of so many injuries to key players in the conference. This was ripe for the taking, and no team took it. Not the Bills, who I'm not gonna lie, halfway through the season, I was like, and I can say this now because the season's over. I'm like, God, Lord, please don't let the Bills actually make the Super Bowl. The one year they're actually not slotted or being like, oh, they're our Super Bowl favorites. Let this be the year that somehow Trash Allen gets them and takes them all the way to the Super Bowl. And don't let them get to the Super Bowl because somehow I could see the NFL magically letting them win a Super Bowl. I'm like, God, Lee, we will not let that. Oh, God, no. Please, not the Bills. Like, I was freaking out, and I'm talking like, even with the little stumble that they had week 6, I'm like, ugh, the worst they're doing. I'm like, oh, God, no. They are poised to coming and winning this and winning a Super Bowl, and I'm like, oh god, because it's always ends up being, in my opinion, that one team. Key example: look at Kansas City. Everybody was saying how bad they were playing, and they still won the Super Bowl. So for me, I was like, no, no. And the more they kept playing bad, the more I'm like, oh god, this is set up. I can already see the script with all the struggles, which the script ended up being exactly how I predicted. It just ended up being the Chiefs versus the Bills. And it's like, oh my God. No, just no. Thankfully, the Bills didn't make it. Still annoyed that the Chiefs won, but yeah, I wholeheartedly thought, oh man, don't let the Bills be the one to actually get there now that they're not favored. Um, Now with us, it's gonna be tough. We have to see what McDaniel's does. The one good thing I will say is that at least this is year three under one regime that we're allowing to go ahead and continue. So at least there's some sort of continuity, and I do believe I'm a whole believer that continuity at the highest level is the foundation for success in the NFL. And yeah, that's where I'm at when it comes to that. Running as Miss Phins, would you rather rebuild for 1 year or spend the next 5 years rebuilding? We've already rebuilt the team. So, unless we're already giving up, we already rebuilt the team. That's already set. We already finished that last off season. We already built the team. Now is this team gonna actually be effective? Sorry, give me a second, guys. That's the difference. Guys, go ahead and hit that like button for me. I appreciate all you guys. Good morning, Dad Dean. Welcome. Vonjo, I see you, sir. Sheko, welcome. How you doing, guys? Thank you so much for coming through. Um, yeah, that to me is where I'm at when it comes to the Super Bowl. Vonjo says stop. Yeah, I stopped. Yeah, I stopped calling Josh Allen trash after last year because clearly he has partial ownership in the Miami Dolphins. I know. It's just so annoying, Vaughn. You know what I mean? Like, this is the annoying part. We spent 20 plus years in our division having to deal with the Patriots and Tom Brady. To now, oh my God, what? Now we got to deal with Josh Allen and the Bills? It just doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me. And this is another thing. Just like I said that this past season is is was right for us to win the Super Bowl, with everything happening, all the shifting and backup QBs and all this stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, the last 4 years, the AFC East has been ripe for us to take, and we still haven't. We still haven't. And that's the problem that I'm having. That's what I can't reconcile. Yes. I was like, man, what's the word? And then got here. Good morning, Hooked Up Joe. How you doing, buddy? Welcome, welcome. Good morning. Great show themes this off season. Hey, man, we're shooting from the hip, buddy. Trust me, we've got a lot of stuff going on this off season. Believe me. Hey, Dolphins Thirsty. I didn't see you. How you doing, sir? Good morning. Good morning, guys. Do me a favor. If you haven't done so already, you got one of the awesomest, wholesomest content creators you can get here with Dolphins Thirsty. Go check them out. Nothing but awesome work and great, great, great collaborations as well over there for sure. I gotta get you up here, Dolphins Thirsty, earlier because I know you go on sometimes at 10. but definitely need to have you in here early session. Let's see here. Good morning, that Dean. Welcome. Then third level would be keeping Cedric Wilson. Oh, it looks like you're having a great combo here. What's up, Shekel? Welcome. Manolo says 3 year head coach, but three different DCs. Sounds like somebody else I know, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, awesome. We'll talk offline. We'll see what day we can collab. That I have some really cool ideas here for this off season. Um, but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's what do you call it? Shekel. I can't. I like that, but that's hilarious. Uh, listen, that's what we do. We give you Dolphins content over here, guys, and we got an awesome off season that we're working on, and it's all with you guys. So if you guys can do me a favor, hit that like button, guys, so we can continue to give you all these great content here. Now, let's see. I let you guys go ahead. I gave y'all about 15 minutes to answer the poll question, and I asked, which potential free agent position should we focus on first? We have so many needs. We just went through, in my opinion, the top five positions in need in guard, center, defensive tackle, defensive end, and safety. And those are the ones, again, we have either, yeah, we essentially have one or no players on their contract, which is why it's such a dire need. And free agency is going to be a huge part, a huge part of this. So when I asked you guys, America, well, the world, because I forget sometimes. We got fans all over the world: Spain, Brazil, London, uh, you know, New Zealand, Australia. So world. That's what I should be saying. I just really love saying America. So that's where you get that from. But world. Which potential free agent position should we focus on first? You guys said guard/center. 48% of you guys said that. And I have to agree. That O line. You gotta be able to build the wall for Tua. Period. Build the war. You know what's so funny? When we got Waddle, I booed that pick. There is video of me booing that pick. I still remember being in the stadium because they used to do draft parties in the stadium. Man, I wish they brought those back. I hope they do, but they used to do that. And we would go, a group of us would go. Absolutely awesome. And when we hit I wanted Payne and Sewell. I was screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm like, we need to protect Tua. I want Payne and Sewell. And he was there. And I was like, this blipping team. I literally booed and people were looking at me. I'm like, I don't care. I'm trying to protect Tua. Like, I'm telling you, I had no. Oh, hey, that's right, Canada. What's up, Steve? That's right. Yes, I booed Waddle, not because I didn't think it was a good pick. I would have wanted Waddle anyways. But my thing is, Penny Sewell was a more vital piece to our team than Waddle. I get wanting to do the whole Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, teammate scenario, blah blah blah. Great report, great. We seen the results. A man broke the rookie reception record in his first year. Has had 1,000 yards in the last years he's been playing. However, there's about 300,000 wide receivers, in my opinion. A and B. There's only a handful of tackles that you can get in the draft that are day one starters. And by handful, I mean typically it's probably like two or three if you're lucky in any draft. And I'm like, why? So I've been trying to save Tua and protect him since day one. And I feel like I've had to fight this uphill battle with our team. We have all said every offseason, we need an offensive line. We need an offensive line. I don't know about you, but you guys are more worried about an offensive line than we are. Greer last offseason. Well, guess what? The number one most O line combinations went to the Miami Dolphins. Now, mind you, the best offseason acquisition the Dolphins have done in the last 3 years, in my opinion, is Butch Berry. Yes, I said it. And this man has worked miracles with all these players. So for me, I'm on for it. I trust in Butch Berry. But my lord, can we get a tackle? Can we get a center? Can we get a guard? And 40% of you guys, world, 48% you guys said guard, center, first thing that we need to focus on in free agency. And I get it. I want a veteran. I'm so tired. I can't do, I can't do any more young players unless it's an absolute stud that we're getting in the draft, in my opinion. I still want them to pick up offensive linemen. Don't get me wrong. We still need depth. But I can't, I need, unless they're a super stud day one starter, I need them to invest heavily in free agency when it comes to specifically center to anchor the O line. But that's just me. What do you guys think? Seriously, no, like seriously, what do you guys think? You guys said 48% of you guys guard center. Okay. 33% defensive tackle. That will be Christian Wilkins' position. We have Zach Sealer. It makes sense for us not to pay Christian Wilkins when you got a guy who's giving you very similar productivity and you're paying him what? 11 million a year for 3 years? Like, that does not compute. Sorry, Wilkins, but dude, like, I want to sign you back. And yes, you're worth every bit of the dollars that you're looking for. But I got somebody else I already locked up in a 3 year contract that is pretty much giving me the same thing. So realistically speaking, I just need somebody else to kind of go, you know, opposite of him, and we should be good. So yeah, I can see why the 33% of you guys say we need to focus on that in free agency because we already have one of those already locked down. We just need our second one and depth, but mostly a second one. And no offense, but Christian Wilkins, 23, $24 million, that's not going to happen. In my opinion, I don't see Greer doing that. And the fact that he said, well, he has earned a right to be a free agent, I think we've already seen him play the last time here. Venezuela is awesome. I know, right? Seriously. You can't have it all weapons and a top O line. Exactly. But I think that you can maximize weapons if you have a super top O line. You see what I mean? So, but that's just me. Just saying. Then 14% of you guys said defensive edge, so like a Van Ginkel. Um, but you know what I find the most interesting is that only 3% of you guys say that we should focus on safety first. Okay, cool. I think that the other positions are much dire need, so I get it, but I didn't expect it to be 3% because we have one safety, so we still need them. But hey, there you go. How about we just let somehow it doesn't matter what I could possibly talk about. Doesn't matter what. I already said his name multiple times today, but not because I was talking about him. It's because I was talking about other players that will directly affect them. But Tua's name always shows up. How about we just let Tua play on his fifth year option and continue to build the team because the rebuild is not looking good. Yeah, you can't deny it. You can't deny it. That's all I gotta say. But there you have it. I'm gonna do a quick Q&A session real quick with you guys. Ask me some questions about free agents. What do you guys think? Do you agree with that list and those free agent players? And let me go ahead and go back and let you guys know which are again some of the free agents that we have in house that we could potentially bring back. Now, to ask me a question, put at Miss Fans or write my name right, just so that way it'll highlight it and I can see it, and then I can go ahead and answer your question real quick. We're gonna spend a couple minutes on that Q&A session because I think it's very interesting. I want to see what you guys got on this free agency stuff. But Christian Wilkins, 29, 5 years in the league. You got Connor Williams, 27, 6 years in the league already. Robert Hunt, 28, 4 years in the league. Eli Apple, 29, 7 years in the league. You got Robbie Chosen, 31, 8 years in the league. You got Deshaun Elliott, 27, 6 years in the league. You got Andrew Van Ginkel, 29, 5 years in the league already. You got Justin Houston, 35, 14 years in the league, super veteran. Chase Claypool, 26, 4 years in the league. Nick Needham, 28, 5 years in the league. Melvin Ingram, 35, 12 is a year in the league. Raekwon Davis, 27, 4 years in the league. You got Brandon Jones, who's 26. Wow, he's only 26. That means he's right in his prime. I get it. He had a little injury and he's coming back from that, but he's only been in the league for 4 years. 26. Now is when he's hitting that stride. Definitely somebody to take a look at for us to bring back in free agency, in my opinion. Braxton Berrios, who's 29. He's been in the league for 6 years. Bruce Irving, 37, 12. Vet, body. Tyler Croft, 32nd, 9 years. Vet, body. Robert Jones, 25, 3 years in the league. That's another one that we can consider bringing back, perhaps, maybe. Who else? Who else? Kendall Lamb is another one. Good depth piece, solid for us to be able to play. You know what I mean? 32 years old, 9 seasons in the league already. Jake Bailey, a lot of people aren't talking about him. He's a free agent, 27, 4 years in the league. But his biggest role is not about him just being a punter. It's the fact that he is um I took his name. Money Sanders. Jason Sanders. I give everybody a nickname, so Jason Money Sanders. We finally got a holder that works well with our kicker. Because the minute that we got rid of Matt Hawk, we had a down year, and down year wasn't that down. It was just slightly less productivity from Jason Sanders. But now him and his chemistry with Jake Bailey, it is huge. And I'm like, we need him. If you're for not for nothing, we need him to be the holder. Not for nothing else. We need him to be the holder. Why? Because you want Money Sanders, who's already the best kicker of all time for the Miami Dolphins. You need that solid kick game. And to me, Jake Bailey is absolutely part of that. Hey, good morning, CB83. Yes, thank you so much. Hit that like button, guys. I appreciate it. Good morning, Dolphin Don. Welcome. Bailey sucks as a punter, but was a good holder for Sandman. Exactly, Michelle. Thank you. You get it. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, like as far as what do you call it? As far as his holding opportunity, we absolutely need him. We absolutely need him, in my opinion. Like, absolutely need him. Whatever happened to having a backup QB as the holder? Oh, that kind of makes sense though. We got Deshaun Hand, 29, 6 years in the league. Jonathan Harrison, 33, 6 years in the league. Veteran already. Another one people aren't talking about, Savon Ahmed, ladies and gentlemen, 26, in his prime, 4 years in the league, has already played with us. You know he's been consistently good with us. A depth piece in the run game. Why not, in my opinion? River Craycraft, which a lot of people, I would have said he was like 27, 26, 27. Man, he looks good for his age. Not that he's that old. He's 30. But he's 30 years old. In football years, I guess football years is like dog years, I guess. Uh 5 years in the league already. It's pretty good, solid, big piece, big weapon for Tua. Or any quarterback, yeah. Uh Absolutely. Justin Bethel's another one. I know he's a veteran, 34 years old, 12 years in the league. Elijah Campbell, a restricted free agent. Him and Robert Jones are both restricted free agents, meaning we have the first right of refusal. And we can put either a first round tender, second round tender, or what's the other thing? First round, second round tender, or we can go ahead and put ah it is escaping me. Ah, the first right of refusal. I literally just said it and then I forgot. Wow. Um, there you go. And then last but not least, Calvin Munson, another veteran, 30 years, 5 years in the league. So we have several free agents that we gotta consider bringing in. Okay. Uh, okay. Good question, Dolphin Don. I'm pretty sure Scott Mitchell was the holder back in Marino's day. Yep. Well, I guess I didn't get any questions, but I do appreciate the shout out. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, CB. Appreciate you. Definitely hit it, guys. Hit that like button for us. Can we get 5 more likes? Is that possible? Let's get 5 more likes. Real quick, 3 years ago, this is a great point that kind of makes. 3 years ago, we were the youngest team in the league. Now we're about the oldest. Just sad. And you are right. 3 years ago, we young studs, little guys, like young bucks, buckarooskies, But for some reason, we just what do you call it? We just don't, we haven't done it. Thank you, Mr. Polk. Y'all missed out on another great Miss Fins show yesterday where Miss Fins broke down our cap and scenarios, how to clear up some of our cap. Great show with TFTG. Yeah, Crypto and Lewis definitely came through. You were up there as well, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Polk. But we've been doing that this entire off season, guys. What in the cap? I got several of those last week that we went through. We broke down and we did other scenarios as well. We did it yesterday as well. We even did the infamous Tua contract extension. We did that too, broken that in details, how it would work for both parties. It would still allow us to pick up some guys and bring in some guys. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As far as when it comes to, hey, Manny Fins, how you doing? As far as when it comes to our free agents, man, what in the top five? Miami Dolphins edition. Top five free agent needs and position and players. Like, we definitely were able to go ahead and go into details with that. And I think personally, there's no other way of putting it. We have to focus on getting, and bringing back Robert Hunt, Christian Wilkins, I understand. But if not Wilkins, at least somebody else, that we can bring in that will be um, effective. A center, or Connor Williams back. Having having Deshaun Elliott to me is like a vital guy to bring back. AVG and Van Ginkel. I call him Baby Thor. It's another player I feel like we need to go ahead and focus on bringing back. So there's some key players too that we need to focus on bringing back as well. So catch, if you're just getting in, catch the show. I thought pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, pretty good. Now, guys, I need you to go ahead and support those who do support the channel, like Chef Jew and Chef Jew's Catering and Sweet Treats. Looking for a great chef to cater your next birthday, business, or office party with mouth-watering cookies, cakes, pies, and more? Then call Chef Jew at 786-804-8096. That's 786-804-8096. Or via Facebook Messenger or Instagram at Chef Jew, JU Catering for more information. And mention Miss Phins to get 10% off your catering order. Guys, I appreciate all of you guys coming through. What an awesome show today. Like we've had this off season, this entire season, you know what I mean? But I appreciate all of you guys for coming through. It's been so much fun. And you know what? At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we're here for. We're here to have fun, enjoy our team, have some great conversations. So let's go ahead and continue to have those conversations. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. Shout out to all of our members who truly support the channel, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for coming through, man. I appreciate all of you guys who do support and become members. I appreciate everybody that hits that like button, share, subscribe, guys. You want to continue to see some great shows, definitely go ahead and continue to share the channel. Man, I appreciate all of you guys. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow for another awesome episode with Miss Phins. Take care, and bye-bye.